especially compared to Week 6. Though Thursday night football was an exception. On Thursday night, we saw the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Cincinnati to face off against Joe Flacco and the Bengals in the Icy Hot Bowl. We saw two 40-year-old quarterbacks go toe-to-toe. Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco. Now, we've already seen this movie before with Joe Flacco being, playing for the Browns and, through his career for the Ravens. This is an age-old rivalry, but now we get to see him don a new suit, a new AFC North uniform in the Bengals jersey, going against the Steelers for the very first time. And definitely the Steelers, being one of the last one-loss teams heading into this game, was a favorite. But Joe Flacco and company managed to pull off the surprising upset victory on Thursday Night Football. In this game, we saw the Steelers do what they aren't characteristically able to do, which is move the ball on offense. The Steelers scored 31 points in this game, thanks to 23 of 34 passing for 249 yards and 4 touchdown passes from the late great Aaron Rodgers himself. Now, accompanied with those 4 touchdown passes were also 2 interceptions. Taking a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers running game, we see that Jaylen Warren had himself quite the day with 16 carries for 127 yards. And through the air, we saw Pat Freiermuth lead the way with an efficient 5-catch, 111-yard, and 2 touchdown a day on just 6 targets. So, if the Pittsburgh Steelers were rolling on offense, how in the world did the Cincinnati Bengals manage to do this? Well, it's because we saw the gunslinging version of Joe Flacco with the elite deep ball passing skills. He went 31 of 47 through the air for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns with no picks. Some vintage Flacco. In the rushing game, we saw one of the best rushing performances from this Bengals offense so far this year, with 11 carries for 108 yards from Chase Brown and Jamar Chase, looking like the Triple Crown version of himself once again. He tops off his 16-catch, 161-yard day with a touchdown on 23 targets. Absolutely insane, but the proper way you're supposed to throw to Jamar Chase when he is your wide receiver. So, in this game, we saw the Steelers start off with a quick 10-0, lead. In the first quarter, we saw a touchdown from Jonnu Smith, and then we see the field goal from the Steelers. But then, Bengals get on the board with a touchdown pass to Jamar Chase. After that, Steelers quickly throw a pick, which leads to another Bengals touchdown, this time to T. Higgins, and then another interception from the Steelers in the first half, and all of a sudden we see 17 unanswered points by the Bengals. Game heads into the half. Bengals up 17-10. In the third quarter, we see a Bengals field goal to kick it off. No pun intended. And then we have a Steelers touchdown to get back into it. Aaron Rodgers to Pat Freiermuth. And that takes us into the fourth quarter of action. So at this point, Steelers are down 3. Bengals get the ball back. And they go once again for a touchdown. This time, Joe Flacco to Noah Fant. With a 10-point lead, the Steelers need a touchdown to stay within the game, and they do get that on a 2-yard touchdown pass to Darnell Washington. And the Bengals, they look to extend their lead. They kick a field goal. They make it 30-24. And the Steelers, with the game on the line, 6.5 minutes left, they go quick 3 and out. So they punt the ball back to the Bengals with 5:26 left in the game. Now this could spell disaster, down see the Bengals punt after just 5 plays. And in just 2 plays, 58 yards, we see the Steelers finally retake the lead for the first time since the second quarter. They get the ball with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left. They get a penalty, and then on a 2nd and 20, we see Aaron Rodgers throw a pass to Pat Freiermuth that goes for 68 yards and a score with 2:21 left on the clock. So Steelers up 31-30. Now it's up to Joe Flacco and company to go ahead and win the game on a game-winning field goal attempt. And that's exactly what they do. They get into field goal range. They set up Evan McPherson at the Pittsburgh 18-yard line for a 36-yard field goal. And they're able to enter the victory formation snaps 3 downs before the kick has to even go, because they're already at the 1st and goal at Pittsburgh's 7-yard line. So they kneel it out with 7 seconds left. They go for the game-winning field goal. They get it, and Pittsburgh can't do anything. I mean, they did have a shot at the end zone. They were able to, Rodgers threw it, I think it was 68 air yards. It was the most a ball has traveled through the air in a game since, I think it was 2017. So his arm is still there. He still had it. Great throw. He gave them a chance, but they come up short, and the Bengals, they get a win. My takeaways from this game is, this is exciting. This is exactly what you hope for if you're the Bengals and you trade for Joe Flacco. Before this season started, we did talk about, Joe Flacco being a boomer bust guy. That's where I ranked him in the preseason quarterback rankings. Sometimes he's going to go out and throw 3 picks. Sometimes he's going to go out and throw 3 touchdowns. And luckily for the Bengals, they got the version of Joe Flacco that can throw the 3 touchdowns and 300 yards rather than the 3 picks that the Browns had. So a great day for them. They feel confident. They feel like maybe they still have a shot to compete in this very injured AFC North. As for the Steelers, I think this is kind of a funny loss for them. This is more like how they were playing in the first 2 weeks of action, when they were giving up a bunch of points to offenses like the Jets and to the Seahawks. As of late, the Steelers' defense had been playing much, much better, so it is surprising that they allowed 33 points to get dropped on their head like this, though they do have to thank Aaron Rodgers for throwing 2 interceptions, and the Bengals not turning the ball over. That was a key to them winning this game. So, great second quarter from the Bengals. Just great game all throughout, and with this, they maybe have a chance. You have to say they have more of a chance than someone like the Ravens, and they've got to feel pretty happy about that. So, after that, let us move into our, once again, European Sunday game. We have a game taking place in London, England, and this time they have their fan favorite, the Jacksonville Jaguars, defending the home court advantage against the Los Angeles Rams. And this one was a doozy for any of those Jacksonville Jaguars London fans out there. I hope you guys averted your eyes to the onslaught that was happening on screen. Matthew Stafford and this Rams team down one of their best, if not their best player, and Puka Nacua for this game. How will they manage to survive? Quite easily. Quite easily. Matthew Stafford, not the most passing yards, but definitely a productive day. He goes 21 of 33 for 182 yards and 5 touchdowns on the day. In the running game, they get 12 carries for 54 yards from their leading running back, Kyren Williams. And in the passing game, no one has that outstanding of a day. 3 catches for 47 yards from Colby Parkinson, but Devontae Adams turns 5 catches and 35 yards into a 3-touchdown performance. As for the Jacksonville Jaguars, we see Trevor Lawrence go 23 of 48 for 296 yards and a touchdown, while also taking 7 sacks for 32 yards lost. In the running game, Travis Etienne Jr. has 8 carries for 44 yards. And we see Travis Hunter's best day as an NFL wide receiver. He records 8 catches for 101 yards and 1 touchdown on 14 targets. So all of this culminates in a 7-35 Jacksonville Jaguars loss to the Rams. And yeah, there's not really too much more that can be said about this game. It was really just a matter of the Jaguars offense not showing up at all and the Rams offense only showing up. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense nowhere to be found really. They've had a pretty good campaign so far in 2025, but not able to generate any turnovers or stops really. So this game was almost complete at halftime itself. In the first half, we see on the Jags opening possession a 3-and-out and then another 3-and-out, followed by a 10-play punt and then a missed field goal, and then finally a turnover on downs, whereas from the Rams we see a touchdown on 3 of their 4 opening drives to quickly put them up 21-0 in this game. And then in the second half, no points by either team in the third quarter, and finally the Rams tack on a 4th touchdown to go up 28-0, and at that point, yes, the Jaguars do finally score, but it's a little too late, and Rams end up winning it 35-7. The Rams go to 5-2 on the year, while the Jags fall to 4-3. So, with that, we can move on to our Sunday morning 10 a.m. slate of games. And the first game that we're going to have is our New Orleans Saints versus Chicago Bears matchup. And a lot of morning games, not too close. I mean, competitive for sure, but kind of all in blowout territory, you could say. When we hit the witching hour of NFL Red Zone, which is the last hour, the last quarter of every morning's late game, usually there is some high-flying drama, some action. But there was one point where every single game was a 2-possession lead by one team or another. And I have to say, the morning slate in this weekend, not the prettiest, not the best of games, but if you're on the winning side of these teams, you probably had a good deal of fun. So, starting off with this Saints-Bears game from the New Orleans Saints, we see them fall to the Chicago Bears 14-26, falling behind 20-7 heading into halftime itself. In this game, not one of Spencer Rattler's best performances. 20 of 32 passing for 233 yards and 2 touchdowns, both going to Chris Olave. But also we saw 3 interceptions and 4 sacks for 24 yards. In the running game, yet another lousy day for Alvin Kamara, who only had 28 yards on 11 rushes. And in the pass, third time's the charm. In the receiving game, we saw Chris Olave with a pretty nice day. He has 5 catches for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns, with a longest catch of 57 yards on a deep strike from Spencer Rattler. As for Caleb Williams in the Bears, and Spencer Rattler had a lost fumble, a day to forget for him. As I was saying, Caleb Williams and the Bears in this one. Williams goes 15 of 26 for 172 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception, so not the prettiest of days. But in a day where Williams struggled, the running game really stepped up. We saw DeAndre Swift go 19 rushes for 124 yards and 1 touchdown. And Kyle Monangai also added in 13 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown. Altogether, the Bears were able to muster up 222 yards in the ground game on 40 rushes. And through the air, we saw DJ Moore dominate with 3 catches for 43 yards on 5 targets. In terms of the Rams did fumble twice, but luckily they were recovered twice by his offensive line. And so yeah, that brings us to the Bears' romping victory over the Saints. One thing of note, yeah, I was trying to look for it. The Bears, though they walk away with the victory, much to be maybe not concerned about, but could have played a lot better in this game. They did have 10 penalties for 92 yards lost, and they also went just 2 of 6 in the red zone. So, luckily for Caleb Williams and company, the running game able to get it done today, and they were able to move past his okay at best performance. But great win for the Bears as they crawl to 4-2, and the Saints they fall to 1-6 on the season. After that, we have a matchup for the ages between two 1-5 teams. The Miami Dolphins heading into Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. And in this game, we saw the most important thing that kind of told us what the result of this game was going to be from the beginning itself. And that was the Cleveland Browns uniforms. The Cleveland Browns, once again, in head-to-toe all brown. I'm talking brown helmet, brown jersey, brown pants. They look good. Every time the Cleveland Browns wear this jersey, they win the game. We saw it against the Packers, and we saw it once again against the Dolphins. And these are by far their best performances of the year. That time it was on the defense. This time, a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense, you could say. Both. Really, you could just say that Tua had one of his worst games ever. Anyway, you spin it, the Cleveland Browns, they were on top. They're not number 2, even if they're dressed like it. They are number 1 after this game. Tua. I don't know what to do with you and your contract at the Dolphins. They might seriously consider benching him at this point. Tua in this game goes 12 of 23 for 100 yards and 3 interceptions. And they are bad interceptions. And it felt like every moment that this game was tuned into on Red Zone, it was just, oh, Tua just threw another pick 6. In the running game, we've said this time and time again, the only bright spot on this Miami Dolphins offense this year, Devon Achane, once again, a good day from him. 13 carries for 82 yards and 46 yards from his longest run. Nearly a touchdown run, but he was dragged down at the very end. And in the receiving game, the leading pass catcher for this Dolphins group was D. Eskridge, who finished the day with 2 catches for 45 yards. As for the Browns, we see Dylan Gabriel's best performance yet, in terms of not really anything going wrong. He had 13 passes completed on 18 attempts for 116 yards, no touchdowns, but also no interceptions and no fumbles. In the running game, lots of volume, not the most efficient day from Quinshon Judkins, 25 carries for 84 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, very, very active, very productive, but not very efficient, with the bulk of his yardage coming on a breakaway 46-yard run. And in the passing game, we saw Harold Fannin Jr. all in 4 catches for 36 yards, with an injured David Njoku not in the lineup. Speaking of turnovers, I mentioned that Tua lost the ball 3 times in the air. He got picked off 3 times, but he also had 3 fumbles in this game, which I think is hilarious. Because because that means we could have seen a 6 turnover day from Tua. And unfortunately, we were robbed of that because of all the fumble recoveries by the Dolphins. So we'll have to wait another week and see if Tua, I don't know if he's playing another snap for the Dolphins offense, if I'm being honest. Him and Mike McDaniel, they might be in the can. I mean, this is embarrassing. You are losing to one of the league's biggest laughingstocks in the Cleveland Browns, and you're losing in horrific fashion. I mean, the season at one point maybe had a glimmer of hope, but now you have to hit a hard reset, a full rebuild. It's over. It is so over. Yeah, and I've nothing else really to say about that. Good luck, Miami. Anywho, after that, we get to talk about a game that was played between the New England Patriots and the Tennessee Titans. A game, a Mike Vrabel revenge game, getting to play against the old team that dumped him. Coincidentally enough, they also just are coming fresh off of firing their ex-head coach. So how will the Titans fare without their guy? And playing against the guy that they dumped their old guy for, a hot and angry Mike Vrabel. And the Patriots, they walk away very, very victorious in this one. 31-13 was the final score. And let's talk about Drake May. Drake May in this game, almost picture perfect. He goes 21 of 23 for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. He also does take 4 sacks, but his 21 of 23 passing, over 90% completion percentage on the game, which is the highest in New England Patriots history, higher than any performance ever by Tom Brady himself. So that is a great record for the second-year quarterback in New England. Man, is it nice to see him sling that rock. Pause. Anywho, after that, in the ground game, Ramondre Stevenson, the Patriots, they know who they have and they stick to it. They love themselves some Ramondre Stevenson. 18 carries for 88 yards and 1 touchdown. And I know I bring a lot of the hate when it comes to Ramondre, but he's really a bipolar running back. When he's playing well, you kind of tip your hat to him. A lot of times he's not playing well. And this was one of those games. This was a very formidable, very pleasant performance from Ramondre Stevenson. Got a decent amount of volume, was fairly efficient, saw another touchdown. I mean, what can I say? Interestingly enough, Travion Henderson, 2 carries in this game, 2 carries behind Terrell Jennings and Drake May himself. I don't even know, man. I don't know what he has done to deserve this treatment, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And in the air game, Stephon Diggs leaving the Patriots wide receivers with 7 targets that he turned into 7 catches and 69 yards. As for the Tennessee Titans, we saw Cam Ward go 25 for 34 for 255 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, while also taking 5 sacks. But let's take a moment to recognize that this was a very nice day from Cam Ward in the first half. Coming out of, off of the kickoff, Cam Ward was hot. I think he went 9 of 10, 10 of 11 passing. He had a perfect passer rating on the day through a good stretch of it. Beautiful touchdown pass to DK to open up the game. The Titans are actually winning this game. What was it, 13-7 at one point? No, 13-3. No, I'm forgetting what exactly. But the point is, they actually led in this game for an insignificant amount of time. They scored a touchdown, gave the ball to us, and we didn't score. So it wasn't all lousy. They were up, and they looked good didn't look so good. Things got out of hand. I mean, Cam Ward did get not strip sack, just stripped for a strip six. He also threw a pick. And yeah, that was later in the game when it didn't really matter, but kind of a step in the right direction for Cam Ward in this Titans team. At least through 2 quarters, it looked like it was anyone's game. And after firing your head coach, I mean, it looked good, at least in that sense. Like, it didn't immediately, they weren't worse, so can't say it's a bad decision. In the running game, not very much running happening from the Titans offense. Tyjae Spears led the way with 5 carries for 22 yards. And in the receiving game, once again, Kamire DK with 4 catches for 70 yards and 1 touchdown. Yeah. 5 sacks for the rookie once again. I think it's really tough. As the #1 overall pick, you always have a tough time. I mean, the last 5, 6 #1 overall picks, they've had a horrible time in their first year, and I think the same is true for Cam Ward. I think he's shown flashes. I think this game in particular, how he played through the first 2 quarters, you can see why he was drafted where he was. The team is garbage, man. I don't like the running room. I think his offensive line is completely in shambles. The defense is, it has its moments, I guess you could say. And yes, they did steal that 1 win over the Cardinals, but this team is far from complete. And I think it's just going to be lots of learning opportunities and lots of growth. But I do agree with the fact that they're moving on to a new coaching staff and a new personnel. Just in the locker room to help shift the focus, shift the culture for this team, and maybe get back to some winning football. And yeah, it really helps that they got rid of their old coach because, times are good in New England at the moment, sitting pretty at 5-2 with the Bills on bye week. The Patriots are comfortably at the top of the AFC East, which is not words that I thought I would be saying at any point in this season, but they have looked good. They just won 3 back-to-back road games in a row. Yeah, they just, what a time to be alive. Anywho, after that, we have a matchup between AFC West friends and foes. The Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. A matchup between Pete Carroll and Andy Reid, 2 of the oldest head coaches in the league at this point. And I will say that Andy Reid got the best of Pete in this one. The Raiders go out sorry, losing 0-31 in this game. In fact, they were losing by so much, I saw something that I don't know if I've ever seen before. With 3 minutes left in the game, the Chiefs were in victory formation. They were kneeling out the clock with Gardner Minshew. And the Raiders had all 3 timeouts, and they didn't even opt to take them. They knew. I mean, I guess when you know, and there's no way that you're scoring 31 points in 3 minutes, so I guess it's fair, but I can't remember the last time I've seen that, where they just, took it on the chin and didn't burn a single timeout in the second half. But yeah, in this game, we saw Geno Smith go 10 of 16 for only 67 yards, and then probably be done for the day. After that, Kenny Pickett took a couple snaps for the team. He went 2 of 2 for 8 yards. But yeah, just things have not been good for Geno Smith this year. In the running game, another dud performance from Ashton Genty. He had some good ones in the most recent weeks, but he goes back to the way that he was playing in weeks 1, 2, and 3. 6 carries for 21 yards, and that's it. And finally, in the passing game, there was only 67 yards through the air from Geno, so the best receiving performance came from Trey Tucker, who had 5 catches for 33 yards. and that was it. As for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he went 26 of 35 for 286 yards and 3 touchdowns in Rashee Rice's welcome back game. In the rushing game, Isaiah Pacheco had a nice game with 15 carries for 57 yards and 1 touchdown. Not overly efficient, but still relatively nice. Also worth noting that rookie Brashard Smith had 14 carries, but only for 39 yards. And finally, in the receiving game, Travis Kelce led the way with 3 catches for 54 yards, but in terms of targets and, I guess, overall production, the winner would be Rashee Rice himself, speeding his way to a 7-catch, 42-yard, 2-touchdown performance. Welcome back to the league. He was back in a jiff, in a lickety-split. Anyhow, after that, let's move on. I mean, I don't know. I feel really bad for the Raiders, because, like, they did everything that I thought they should do in the offseason. Max Crosby goes down in this game. You just paid him a boatload of money. You never want to see that. They got a better quarterback. They got a running back. And it's just like nothing is working. They don't look good. They look worse than they did last year. It's sad. I don't know. I wish there was some advice I could give, but I truly have nothing. I think it's gonna be really hard to compete until Patrick Mahomes is out of this division, especially with the Broncos and the Chargers. They found a way to do it, and credit to them, but there's no way you can really have 4 contenders in the division all at the same time. I don't know, man. It's just, you're the odd one out. I hate to break it to you. As for the Chiefs, man, they look damn good. I mean, started off the year ugly. It didn't look good at all. Offense looked shaky, kind of in shambles. Patrick Mahomes put the team on his back. Was picking up plays on his feet, still finding a way to connect the dots, get them those touchdown passes. And if you look at Mahomes this year, it looks like an MVP type season. Like, his numbers are quite impressive. The fact that he's actually producing in fantasy is a bit odd. Usually steer clear, but he's been on one. He's on a heater. And yeah, it's looked like Kansas City was maybe out of it for half a second. And yeah, no, they're back at 4-3, above 500, and it's anyone's game. So it might not be too long before we see them at the top of the AFC once again. Anywho, after that, we get a matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings in the Carson Wentz revenge game. Carson Wentz getting dumped by his old team, the Eagles, many years ago after that Nick Foles Super Bowl run and his subsequent demise. You know, that ACL tear just really did a number on him. Never quite the same player again after that. More of a journeyman, especially in the last 5-6 years for Carson Wentz. And yeah, the Eagles, they're sitting pretty with their new guy in charge, Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts showed them why they made the right decision today, leading the Eagles to a 28-22 victory over his old mentor. Jalen Hurts in this game goes 19 of 23 for 326 yards and 3 touchdowns, one of his best games. Perfect passer rating, 158.3 on the day. 4 incompletions, 3 touchdowns, only 1 more incompletion than touchdown on the day. In the rushing game, not good for Saquon. I mean, every time we have a rushing champion, things don't always seem to do the best for them. I don't know if it's that or the 2K curse. I don't know, but Saquon just not having a good year whatsoever. He has 18 carries for just 44 yards in this game. And through the air, I mean, pick your poison. Both wide receivers having an absolutely massive day. Devontae Smith had 9 catches for 183 yards and 1 touchdown, likely on many people's fantasy as well. 4 catches for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns on a whopping 30.3 yard per catch average in this game. And I can't say that the Vikings did too shabby in this game. I will say part of why they lost was the 2 interceptions from Carson Wentz. He had a 26 of 42 passing performance for 313 yards. And yes, he did throw 2 picks. But 313 yards, he was keeping them in it, getting them into field goal range quite a bit. And if they had just been able to turn 1, maybe 2 of those field goals into touchdowns, they could have walked away with a victory here. In the running game, Jordan Mason, he had 15 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown. And through the air, the biggest day went to Jordan Addison, who had 9 catches for 128 yards. Let's take a look at the red zone stats in this one. I mean, shout out Philadelphia, for getting 4 touchdowns on the board. In previous games, they've kind of stalled. They didn't do the best on 3rd down in this game either. Going 3 of 10 on 3rd down, I would say there were times in this game where it did look like Philadelphia was struggling, and even into, the 4th quarter, they had already retaken. It looked dicey at one point. Going into the second half, Philadelphia led 14-9. They're able to extend very quickly, make it 21-9 after a 2-play drive that resulted in a touchdown. And then the Vikings scored a touchdown to make it 21-16. Philadelphia missed a field goal, and then that's when the Vikings got a field goal, made it a 2-point game. So it seemed like, maybe the Vikings were going to pull off the upset if they're able to subsist. But no, after that, the Eagles put together a nice touchdown drive, made it a 9-point game, and the Vikings once again getting the ball, driving it down the field, but only resulting in a field goal, and they cut it to 6 points. And after cutting it to 6 points, they tried to kick it off. I mean, they did. They kicked it off to the Eagles, and they didn't go for the onside kick, and I think it was a very questionable decision. I do think it was a losing decision, if I'm being honest. Philadelphia has not been that great offensively this year, and you've been allowing breakout play after breakout play. The fact that they've already hung 28 on your head, what makes you think that you're getting a stop when it matters most? I don't know. I thought they were playing to lose with that decision, and yeah, they lost. So I do think that the Vikings have themselves to thank for that one. Go for the onside kick. I know that the conversion rate is very low, but if you get it, you just need a touchdown, and you had enough time to go get that touchdown. I think it was a little bit of coaching malpractice, but forgivable. I think 99% of the time, the Vikings are coached well, and really, that's not the only reason they lost this game. 1 of 6 in the red zone, 2 interceptions. You have a lot of points of error you can correct rather than just going for the onside kick. So, all in all, not your worst issue. Anywho, after that, we get to move into a game between the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets. Now, when you hear these two teams, you're thinking 1-6 or 1-5 versus 0-6, but no. The Carolina Panthers enter this game with a 500 record in week 7. That is absolutely absurd. And they leave this week with a 4-3 record. The Carolina Panthers get another win. They were above 500, and we are almost halfway through the season. What is going on? It is the year of a lifetime for Panthers fans, and I can't even say it's been pretty, but hey, you're winning, and that's all that matters in this game. Bryce Young, he goes down with an ankle injury in this one. Very sad, but Andy Dalton comes, fills in, and doesn't make any major mistakes, and they're able to pull out on top. Bryce Young goes 15 of 25 on the day for 138 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 sack. in the rushing game. Chubb Hubbard is back. He is back in the mix, back from injury. And so we see Rico Dowdle's touches take a hit. Instead of 30 touches, he only takes 17, and Mott has 17. But he does turn that into 79 yards on the ground. Chubb Hubbard, on the other hand, 14 carries, 31 yards. That's not that good, man. So, I don't know. If I were the Panthers, keep on feeding Rico. And then in the passing game, a big day from the second-year wide receiver, Xavier Legette. He has 9 catches for 92 yards and 1 touchdown on 11 targets. For the Jets, another abysmal day of offense. There was a little bit of lack of consistency. Justin Fields starts the game for the Jets. Halfway through the second quarter, I want to say maybe even the first quarter itself, he has to leave the game to get checked out for a concussion on a late, kind of dirty hit. Let's just say a late hit on Justin Fields. So he is out. Tyrod Taylor steps in. Tyrod Taylor doesn't do all that great. He's fine, but they still want to see what they have in Justin Fields. They bring Fields back out. He doesn't do that well. They look lousy going into the halftime. And then eventually in the second half, they bring Tyrod Taylor back out and they bench Justin Fields. So, I don't know, confusing. Very mixed messages, mixed signals, messaging from Aaron Glenn and company. They say after last week's loss, they don't know Justin like we know Justin. This is our guy. And then what? You bench him mid-game? Tyrod Taylor's not going to win you a football game, in my opinion. And yes, Justin Fields in these last 2 games has not been very good. But it's also the O-line, man. The O-line is bonkers. So bad. So, Tyrod Taylor leads the day in this one. He goes 10 of 22 for 126 yards and 2 interceptions. Not exactly winning football. Fields, he goes 6 of 12 for 46 yards. No other relevant stats. Brees Hall has a disappointing day, 11 carries for 38 yards. And Tyler Johnson, being the only real productive guy, he has 3 catches for 60 yards for the receiving core of the Jets. Yeah, I don't know. It's back-to-back weeks where the Jets are I really think Aaron Glenn might not make it through the season. I don't know. Aaron Glenn has been bad. He has just not been good, in my opinion. The way that he conducts himself on the sidelines and the way that he doesn't call timeouts before the end of the half, I feel like it's really insulting to that Jets offense. The Jets, once again, they have the ball and they're not that far from field goal range, and instead of doing anything, they just let the time run out. There was not an insignificant amount of time. They took the sack. All they needed to do was call a timeout, throw maybe a 15-yard pass towards the sideline, and then try the field goal attempt. In both weeks, they haven't given their offense even the chance. I am not even I don't really watch the Jets like that, but that would drive me so nuts. Fields is not that bad. The offense is not that bad. The fact that you are not even letting them try is insulting. I don't know. I genuinely think that Aaron Glenn after year 1 is going to be gone. I don't think that Fields is necessarily here either. But at 0-7, you definitely, in the last 2 weeks, have looked like the absolute worst team in football. I'm sorry, but it's just, on every level, offensively, defensively, coaching, it's just, none of it is working, and the team is regressing. I do feel bad, but it's just, it's frustrating, even as, a third-party viewer, what is going on in New York? Anyhow. Speaking of New York, this was a game. We have the New York Giants almost double that today. 33 points all in the fourth quarter to steal this game away from the Giants, 33-32. Now the Giants, man, they know how to play some football. They look so much better with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo in the starting lineup. Jackson Dart, like, he really gives it his all. 15 of 33 passing for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Like he's putting it all out there. 32 points from the Giants offense in back-to-back weeks, over 30 points. Hello, like what is this? What world do we live in where New York can really move the ball like this? But they can't. Cam's got about 16 carries for 60 yards. And then in the receiving game, Wan'Dale Robinson, 6 catches for 95 yards. Mind you, they're doing all of this without their best offensive piece in Lake Neighbors. So just keep that in mind. As for the Broncos, Bo Nix, 27 of 50 passing on the day for 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. J.K. Dobbins has 14 carries that he turns into 81 rushing yards, and Cortland Sutton has 6 catches for 87 yards and on 10 targets. So what happened? How did we get here? What led to this insane comeback? Yeah. So we start off the game, we see a punt from the New York Giants, and then we see the Broncos go 3 and out, and then we see the Giants go 3 and out, and then we see the Broncos punt. So not all that great to start off the game. Both offenses struggling. Finally, the Giants, they get their ish together. They have a 4-play drive turned into a 77-yard touchdown drive, 44-yard touchdown pass between Jackson Dart. I was going to say Bo Nix. I'm confusing my white swaggy quarterbacks. Jackson Dart to Daniel Bellinger's for 44 yards, and he was wide open. Like, I don't know what happened, but wide open. And so the Broncos, they get the ball back. And after 8 plays, they punt once again. 8 plays, 18 yards, 5 minutes, punt. And so the Giants get the ball, and they go 3 and out. Then the Broncos go 3 and out. So not a whole lot of offense in this first half. But with the Giants regaining possession of the ball once again, they construct their second productive drive of the day. 10 plays, 82 yards, results in a 13-yard touchdown pass between Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo himself. So they miss the extra point. They go up 13-0. Broncos, desperate to get some points on the field, they go out with their offense and they get all the way to the goal line. They get to the goal line. It's 1st and goal at the New York 5. They run it on the left side with J.K. Dobbins, and they gain 3 yards. 2nd and goal at the New York Giants 2-yard line. Pass incomplete for Garrett Bowles. They're trying to run a trick play. They announced him as eligible, and they threw it to him, but it didn't work out. And you got Bo Nix passing the ball to the right to Troy Franklin, and it doesn't work. So now it's 4th down, and they decide, we're already behind to a team like the Giants. Let's go get some points. Let's do this. Bo Nix passes short to the right to Cortland Sutton. It is not complete. They turn it over on downs. And yeah, obviously the Giants, they weren't going to be able to drive the ball 98 yards like that, so they don't, but they do go into the half up 13-0. Broncos, they have the ability to change the tide heading into the second half. They receive the opening kickoff, and what do? They do what they do best. They punt the ball. And then the Giants see their punt, and they match their punt. We're going punt for punt in this one. After that, Bo Nix, he takes the snap on the next Broncos drive and fumbles it, but is able to recover. That sets them up with, not that far back. It's only 2nd and 11. array of punts by this Denver Broncos team. Nothing else really. And the Giants, they're able to capitalize once again with another touchdown, this time a 31-yard touchdown run from Tyrone Tracy. And in order to make up for the missed extra point, the Giants go for 2, and the pass attempt to Wan'Dale Robinson fails, so they lead 19-0 over the Broncos. And the Broncos are down not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. It's a 3-score game. So they know they need to get points, and they need to get them in a hurry. So what do? They grab the ball, they use 8 plays to drive down the field 78 yards, and they score their first touchdown of the day. It's going to be a Bo Nix pass to Troy Franklin, and because they know how much they're down, they go for 2, and it's successful. So the pass to Courtland Sutton succeeds. They are now losing only 19-8, but they need to get a stop. So they give the ball back to the Giants, and a stop is not what they get. They allow another touchdown, this time a 41-yard touchdown pass between Jackson Dart and Tyler Johnson. I want to say it is. Touchdown is good, and they don't do any fancy shenanigans on this one. They just scored the extra point to go up 26-8. So leading by quite a bit still, and there's 10 minutes left in the game at this point. So the Broncos, they get the ball, and with 5 minutes off the clock, 13 play drive, 74 yards, they manage to score once again on a 7-yard touchdown run from Bo Nix himself. Once again, they opt to go for the 2-point attempt, and once again, they convert, this time to Troy Franklin. So now, the Denver Broncos, with 5 minutes 13 on the clock, they are down 10 points. They need stops, and they need points. So, what do? They go out on defense, and their defense has been getting hammered all day long. But they finally show up. Jackson Dart steps back, looks for D. Johnson in a pass short up the middle, and is intercepted by Strnad. Strnad returns at 21 yards, sets up a short field for the Denver Broncos to work with, that too with barely any time off the clock. So the Broncos set up with 4 minutes and 47 seconds left in the game. They quickly get all 19 yards that they need on a 2-yard touchdown run. They punch it in with R.J. Harvey. Extra point is good. They are now down 26-23. So, Giants, they receive the kickoff, 3:51 left in the day. They just need to run out the clock, maybe score another field goal, maybe score another touchdown, but the main thing is they need to run out the clock. They run it on first down for no gain. They run it on second down for 2 yards, and on third down, they make the decision to throw the ball, and they throw it incomplete. So now they have to punt. You're punting back to a Broncos offense that had just scored a touchdown on 3 straight drives within the quarter, and there's 2:51 left in the game. You're in for a long ride. And so the Broncos, they get the ball. 2 minutes 42 seconds left in the game. They are down 3 points. 6 plays, 68 yards, 51 seconds. They score the touchdown like lightning in the fourth quarter. 18-yard touchdown strike from Bo Nix. Oh, sorry, not touchdown strike. Touchdown run. He ran for another one in this game. My goodness. Will Lutz's extra point is good once again. And now the pressure is on for the Giants. The Denver Broncos have come charging back into this game. Down, 19-0. They now lead 30-26. Have absolutely punched New York in the jaw and snatched their chain. What is Jackson Dart going to do about it? He is going to step up to the plate, and he is going to deliver. It doesn't start off very well for the Giants and company. They take a sack on first down, 1 minute and 51 seconds left on the clock. On the next play, incomplete. So It's 2nd and 14. They don't get it. Now they're set up on 3rd and 14, and they take a 5-yard penalty. Delay of game. They weren't set up. Game on the line, down 4 points. You are now facing a 3rd and 19. What are you going to do? You're going to throw it incomplete. Now, 4th and 19, 1 minute and 8 seconds left. It's do or die scenario. You have to pick up the yardage or you're not going to get it. And they get it. They get 19 yards on the dot. Roughing the passer also enforced on the play. So that sets them up beautifully. You go from your own 26 all the way into the Denver territory. You're at the Denver 40-yard line. Then 3 straight incompletions. But on the 3rd and 10 pass, we have a defensive pass interference for 38 yards, and we see an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and that sets up the Giants at the 1-yard line. And on first down, they get the QB sneak by Jackson Dart. They score the touchdown. 31 seconds left in the game. New York is back up. And New York, what do? They score 6. So they're now up 32 to 33. And the extra point, they don't go for 2. They went for 2 earlier in the game because they missed the previous kick. They don't do that. Instead, they do the save option. They play for the tie. They kick the extra point. And the extra point is no good once again. So, no timeouts. 31 seconds. Broncos have a chance to steal this game. And on first down, 29-yard pass to Marvin Mims down the center of the field. Not only that, you also have, because the Giants were so far behind in getting back to the ball, Brian Burns tries to jump back into, to get set, but he is too late. They spike the ball with him still on the other side. So you get another 5 yards by the Broncos. And on the next play, they get a 22-yard completion to Cortland Sutton. Sets them up perfectly to go for a game-winning kick and 39 yards for Will Lutz. No problem. The Denver Broncos win the game. Broncos move to 5-2 on the season. One of the best records in the NFL. Started off shaky when they began this year, but that Philadelphia Eagles win really changed the trajectory of their season. Instead of going 2-3, they went 3-2. They now sit at the top of this AFC West. Unbelievable. And I mean, for the Giants, yeah, you lose the game, but you got your swagger back. You guys look good. At least you're losing in style. Obviously, you gotta feel confident about your guy, Jackson Dart. Hey, look, when talking about the draft, I did not see the vision when seeing him getting the start so close into the season. I did not see the vision. I thought, give him more time, maybe go with a different guy. And I will say, at least thus far, broken ball. He looks legit. He looks good. So, at the end of the day, at least you have that. Just, wow. And after that, we had what was supposed to be a pretty good game between the Indianapolis Colts and the Los Angeles Chargers. But in my opinion, not that good of a game. Colts winning 38-24, one of the best offenses in football, and they continued to stampede to another victory here. Daniel Jones going 23 of 34 passing for 288 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. We see Jonathan Taylor, he goes 16 carries for 94 yards and 3 touchdowns. How many 3-touchdown days are we going to see from this guy, Jonathan Taylor? This guy is crazy. And then Alec Pierce, he has the 5-catch, 98-yard performance for the Colts receivers. As for the Chargers, Justin Herbert spreading the wealth, sharing the love in this game. He threw 55 passes, completed 37 of them for 420 yards in this game, throwing it to everyone, both his offense and to the Colts defense. He finishes with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Herbert also the leading rusher for his team. I mean, he's doing it all. Kamani Vidal. Very nice game last week. Not so much this week. He goes 9 carries for just 20 yards. Hassan Haskins only has 1 carry for 3 yards. And with Quentin Johnston back in the lineup, what does he do? He has 2 catches for 30 yards and 1 touchdown. Ladd McConkey, 9 catches for 67 yards, and Keenan Allen, 11 catches for 119 yards and 1 touchdown. And despite all of that, despite their wide receiver trio monster that they have, we don't really know who's the number 1 guy, the leading receiver on the day was Oronde Gadsden, yeah, the second. 7 catches for 164 yards and a tutty. Go figure. In this game, I mean, yeah, turnovers were kind of crucial, but the Chargers were down big very early. I think it was more their defense than their offense. I mean, it's hard to say. If their offense had shown up earlier in the game, maybe it would have been somewhat winnable, but they were just playing from behind, and yeah, they never were able to catch up because they were down so much. Colts' first 3 possessions of the game, 3 straight touchdowns, whereas the Chargers field goal, but then punt, interception. They're already down 23-3 going into halftime. As far as I was concerned, game was over. And yeah, in the second half, Chargers did go touchdown, but they also allowed 2 more touchdowns to the Colts. So realistically, you were down 31-10, and then you were down, yeah, in the fourth quarter, 38-24, but that's still a 2 touchdown lead. And even though you forced the punt on the Colts, when you got the ball and there was 12 minutes and 41 seconds left in the game, you had a 21 play drive, 21 plays for 67 yards, 9 minutes and 14 seconds off the clock, and you didn't score any points. I mean, what? I don't know if I've ever seen that. That's the longest useless drive I've ever seen in my life. The craziest thing is, like, they didn't even really get that. Like, they genuinely started progressing backwards. They got the ball at their own 11-yard line, and then with a few plays, they were finally able to get it past the halfway yard, the midfield. They're at the Indianapolis 44-yard line. Then they're at the Indianapolis 43-yard line. Then the Indianapolis 35-yard line, 34-yard line. And that's really where it stopped. They got to the 34-yard line of the Colts. Then they started to go backwards. They go to the 39-yard line. They move a little bit forward to the 28-yard line. But then they get sacked and go back to the 40-yard line. And then they go back again to the 45-yard line on another 5-yard penalty. And it sets them up for 4th and 27 with 3:36 left in the game. You understand, when you got the ball, there were 12 minutes and 41 seconds left in this game, and you just did nothing. You did nothing for the entire quarter. Baffling. Just crazy. Complete lack of confidence. I'm sorry. But really, it's just like so many penalties, so many mistakes. How do you do that? How do you have 21 plays, 67 yards, 9 minutes, and accomplish absolutely nothing? It's insane. And yeah, 23 yards on the final play of the drive, but you need 27, so it's worth nothing. And then the Colts win it. Like, obviously, the first half errors were worse than that last drive, but like, My goodness. Anyway, after that, we have a matchup between the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys. The Commanders coming in a little empty-handed. No Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel ruled out for this game, so they're going to have to move forward with Jalen Lane and Chris Moore as their starting wide receivers. Jane Daniels able to suit up for this game after his injury a couple weeks ago. I mean, he played in the last game, but they lose at the last second. Now, Daniels ready to play once again, but because his hamstring, he has to sit after a bit, gets hurt. So he goes 12 of 22 for 156 yards and 1 touchdown. Also, the leading rusher on the day, 8 carries for 35 yards and a touchdown, but his day is cut short. Marcus Mariota has to enter for the Commanders. He goes 4 of 10 for 63 yards and an interception. And in the passing game, it's Jalen Lane with 3 catches for 60 yards. But Zach Ertz had the most productive day, 3 catches for 37 yards and 1 touchdown on 7 targets. Dak and company, they feast. They give them the 44-22 special, double them up. Dak goes 21 of 30 for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. He continues to build on a pretty great season. Javonte Williams, 19 carries for 116 yards and a touchdown. Great day from him. And CD Lamb will come back from your injury. All through the week, Sean Heimer saying, if CD Lamb is catching passes in practice, he's good to go as far as I'm concerned. And CD Lamb saying, I'm good to go. Well, what would you look at that? He was good to go. 8 targets, 5 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. And George Pickens was no slouch himself, 4 catches for 82 yards. The dynamic duo continuing to light things up. And Jake Ferguson, not a bad day either. 7 catches for 29 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wow. High-powered Dallas offense. Dallas Cowboys football. It's fun. It's fun to watch. And now for the Commanders, they fall to 3-4. They're now below 500, and you have to really just be upset at the injuries. I mean, you look like the 49ers out there. Jaden Daniels constantly having to miss games with his hamstring. Terry McLaurin has played like 1 game this year. Deebo Samuel now missing games. They're a good team, but gotta feel bad with all the injuries getting in the way of what could have been a nice season. Like heading into the 4th quarter last week, you were flirting with what would you have been 4-2. Now you're at 3-4. Just gotta sting. And the Cowboys, they're kind of still in it. You know, Giants lose, Commanders lose. Yeah, sure, Eagles win, but sitting at 3-1, dead even. You could maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. You need to play like injured and bad teams, but that offense looks nice. I gotta say. Finally, our second to last game. Last game in the afternoon slate. It's going to be a matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals. The Packers walking away with the victory in this one, 27-23, playing against Jacoby Brissett and company for the injured Kyler Murray. Jordan Love in this game goes 19 of 29 for 179 passing yards and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs, not the most efficient day, but a very productive day. 13 carries for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Romeo Doubs, the leading guy for this Packers offense, 6 catches for 72 yards on 8 targets. Not too far behind him, we have Tucker Kraft with 5 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown. As for the Cardinals, we see Jacoby Brissett go 25 of 36 for 279 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also taking 6 sacks. I think his name is Zonovan Bam Knight. He has 14 carries for 57 yards. And in the receiving game, Trey McBride with a huge day, the best best day of the season so far for him. 10 catches, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns on 13 targets. Big exclamation point by the tight end. And yeah, it was really anyone's game heading into the fourth quarter. Arizona, once again, finding themselves leading against a team that's better than them. They did it last week against the Colts, made life very difficult. Once again, making life difficult for the Packers. They led through a lot of this game. They led in the first quarter. They led heading into halftime. They led going into the fourth quarter. But the other team, once again, just pulled away with the victory. But the fact that Kyler Murray's not there, Jacoby Brissett is in, and they're playing this well. Maybe their staff knows what they're talking about. I think there was someone on their coaching staff that said, yeah, when you look at Kyler and you look at Jacoby, they really offer you the same skill set. So it doesn't feel like we're playing with a backup or something along those lines. And they look dang good. They look just fine to me. This is how they would be. They'd be losing worse if Kyler was in, so I don't know. And yeah, Green Bay turning it up when it mattered most. They go for a touchdown to start the fourth quarter. Then Arizona responds with a field goal. Packers go 3 and out. And I don't know, kind of interesting decision making after the punt. The Packers are, the Cardinals are set up at their own 28-yard line. They get 11 yards on their first play of the drive. Sets them up at 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. They throw it incomplete, or they get a 1-yard run, and then they throw it incomplete. And so now it's 3rd and 9, and they get an 8-yard completion. So it's 4th and 1, right around midfield. There's 5 minutes and 58 seconds left in the game, and they're only up, 3 points? Punt it. I don't know, pardon me if I'm mistaken. Are you dumb? What has happened to this league? I don't know if I really agree with I understand the analytics, I understand we're in a new NFL, but it's crazy. A 4th and 1 at least is not that egregious. Dude, there's 5.5 minutes. Even if you get the first down, you're probably gonna have to punt still. Unless you go all the way. This is not playing to win. This is just playing silly. I don't know. So yeah, they didn't get it. And then the Packers take over. They score a touchdown, take the lead. And now there's only 1 minute and 50 seconds left in the game. So you've absolutely bungled this game. And you have to go down the field. And yeah, you get real close, but you kind of stagger right outside the red zone and you don't end up doing it. I don't know. You played 3 brilliant quarters of football, but one really brain-dead mistake, in my opinion. Cardinals, overall, compared to some of the other teams, they don't look as bad. Jacoby Brissett making them look alright, but you're really gonna have this one. Anyway, after that, we have our final game of Sunday. This is going to be the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. Falcons coming off their upset victory against the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. You have to remember, in a great game from Michael Penix Jr., from Bijan Robinson, from Drake London. Everyone was having a career day at halftime itself. They were up so much, and the Bills just completely flat-footed, did not know how to respond. And so yeah, the Falcons steal one, and then in typical Falcons fashion, they lose to a worse opponent. In this one, offense does not look nearly as good. They just, I don't know, I kind of saw it coming. I think the Falcons, I've started to understand how they operate. Big, upset win that makes no sense. Terrible lost that they should have won, maybe. It's starting to make sense. So, Michael Penix in this game, 21 of 38 passing for 241 yards, 1 touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 14 carries for 40 yards. And Darnell Mooney, the main guy, 3 catches for 68 yards. We also see Michael Penix Jr. lose a fumble. Now, Mac Jones still filling in for the injured Brock Purdy, and the magic is a little bit gone. They lost last week to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it wasn't the prettiest of performances from him. Once again, not the best, but they get the job done. Mac Jones gets 17 of 26 passing for 152 yards and 1 interception. In the rushing game, Christian McCaffrey's best day of the season. He has 24 rushes for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. In the receiving game, we see Christian McCaffrey also lead the 49ers, 7 catches for 72 yards. Overall, almost a 200-yard day from Christian McCaffrey all by himself. And yeah, he's really all they ever needed, all they ever wanted was a healthy Christian McCaffrey. And George Kittle was back in this game. He had 2 targets for 0 catches. So he wasn't really even Mac, but he was in there. And yeah, let's take a look at some of the team stats. Six penalties for Atlanta, 1 of 2 on the red zone trips. Took 2 sacks. All in all, not anything that egregious. Yes, mistakes. 5 of 11 on 3rd down, that's not even that bad. 0-2 on 4th down efficiency. What down and distance? Obviously I know the down, but what was the distance on these 4th downs? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Where is this? Down 3 with 12:48 left in the game. They got the ball. They took it to the San Francisco 35. Oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me, man. They just have no faith in their kicker, huh? Did they miss a kick? My brother in Christ, you didn't even miss a kick. Why did you not go for this? 4th and 1 at the San Francisco 35. You're setting yourself up for a 52-yard field goal. You can kick a ball here. You can, make it a tie game. You have to play some defense, but I don't understand what is going on. I don't know, man. But to sum things up, Falcons lose, 49ers win. They move to 5-2. They're still tied with the Rams for the division lead in this division. Brock Purdy is maybe coming back next week. I don't know. There's a lot of people who it's like they're kind of in injury limbo. Brock Purdy, yeah, he's supposed to come back in week 8. Who really knows? Terry McLaurin, will this guy play this entire season? I have no idea. A lot of guys that just seem like on the brink of coming back, and they're not. Anyway, that about does it. That about sums up this week's action. Thank you for joining me. I know this video was a bit longer, and it was because I was less dialed in at that work conference in Vegas this week, and coming back, I just had less. I needed to unwind a little bit and spend some more time with my girlfriend, so I didn't watch quite as much football as some of the other weeks. I also had a draft for my fantasy basketball league. It was a pretty fun draft. It's a league with 5 of us from high school. We're really close, and a 6th from high school as well. One of the guys' twin sister, so it's 6 of us playing fantasy. And for 4 of the guys, me and 3 of the others, we had our girlfriends draft our league for us. And then the 5th guy who doesn't have a girlfriend had his sister draft for him. So 5 of us just having to delegate our drafting responsibilities and deal with whatever got drafted. And it was pretty fun and funny. Number 1 overall pick went to one of my friends, and his girlfriend drafted number 1 overall Igor Devin, the rookie for the Broncos. And he was. I only found out about Igor Devin yesterday as I was like doing some research. I was like, who the hell is this guy? I didn't pay that much attention to the Nets draft because they drafted so many point guards. And so I became accustomed with him yesterday, and then I saw him get drafted number 1 overall today. Jokic didn't go until 3. My girlfriend, she did a pretty bang-up job. Our strategy was I gave her about 30 people that I wanted on the team, and she came up with mnemonic devices to help her through the first 30. And then the strategy was draft anyone named Jalen. We're talking Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brown, Jalen Duran, Jalen Johnson, Jalen Williams, Jalen Suggs. I wasn't as high on Jalen Green, but she liked the idea. She was pretty big into it. We could even tap into the Jarens, the Jadens. I did ask her to steer clear of because I don't think Jaden McDaniels is that great for fantasy basketball. We're playing lock-in, and then I even said, like, hey, another J, you need another J name, go for Jimmy. And I did end up with a fair number, but it seems like one of the other girls in the league also had the same idea because she walked away with Jalen Brown, Jalen Johnson, and there was a third Jalen that she sniped. And so she was kind of stealing all of my girlfriend's players, and eventually my girlfriend panicked and took Jalen Wells, and that one kind of hurt. And then she took out Kuzma, and that one really hurt. But then we got back in the OK column. So yeah, that was a good deal of fun. Maybe I'll let you guys see how it went. But yeah, thank you for watching. As always, if you enjoy content like this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be putting out more videos as the weeks progress. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.